Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm very excited to share some news with you guys today. Emily and I managed to secure a unit block purchase for $1.4 million. Now you may have seen in one of our most recent videos where we went down to an auction at Burleigh Heads and that property ended up selling for $2.35 million, only a couple hundred meters from the water on the coastline. I've talked about in previous videos where Emily and I have our portfolio in the Brisbane market, and we're looking to expand our portfolio to get closer to the $5 million mark in terms of asset value. So we pulled out cash recently. That was another video, $720,000 of cash is what we had. Now we're not looking to spend all of that money on this purchase. So we put down a 25% deposit on this purchase, and I'll run through the numbers in more detail in another video if you guys are interested. So drop a like on this video and I'll break that down in a future episode or future video. Episode, makes it sound so serious. So what exactly did we purchase? Whereabouts is it located? Why did we decide to go with a unit block and not just buy another house and land? So let's answer all those questions in today's video. So I'll tell you a bit of backstory. Emily and I were unsuccessful at the auction at Burleigh Heads. This was a few weeks ago now, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we were unsuccessful at that auction. I was pretty disappointed that we didn't even get to put in a bid, but so be it. Em was, felt more relieved that the auction was over and that we were able to move forward and just kick back and look for another purchase sometime soon. Originally, when we talked about our financial situation, we were originally looking to make a purchase in 2022 between January and March in that time period. But being the person that I am, I do like to get out there and take action. So I was always looking for another investment opportunity sooner rather than later. So after we'd refinanced and had a discussion with a few lenders and we got a certainty over our investing capacity and our purchase price limit, we were looking for a unit block or a coastal property between that $1 to $2 million price point. I also wanted a relatively strong yield, so 4% plus yield, but was hoping up towards the 5 and if not 6% mark. Emily and I are definitely looking for a value add opportunity property as well, where we can renovate and add some value down the track. So say something needs a new kitchen or a new bathroom or some paint or the floors, for example. So we're looking for something that we could add value to in say 2 or 3 years time. Once a tenant decided to vacate the property and move on to another place, we could get in there, do the renovation, lift the value of that unit or multiple units if necessary, and then rent them out for a higher price. So on the Sunday night after we were unsuccessful in Burleigh, I was trawling the internet as you do, looking for opportunities, and this property popped up in Coffs Harbour. Now, people are going to say instantly, why are you buying or looking at a regional location? Emily and I have built our property portfolio where we've got a base level of financial freedom at the moment, and we've got quite a large asset base, which has all been capital growth focused. It was time for us to move towards more of a cash flow focus. So we built our base. Our portfolio on the bank valuation was sitting in the low 3s, and in market valuation, in my opinion, was sitting in the $3.5 million range. And it was time to move to a cash flow play to help us with debt retirement and help us with more choices in terms of having a larger amount of cash flow and using that cash flow to either sit in our offset account or put towards future investment opportunities. So this next purchase was really a cash flow play, and any future capital growth was going to be an upside. Now that didn't mean Emily and I didn't want to buy in a large location if we were going to go more regional. So we were looking at locations with a minimum of 50,000 people. So within Australia's top 50 cities or locations. You can find that out online if you do a quick search as to what the largest 50 population centres are in Australia. And Coffs sits around the 25 to 30 mark in terms of the top 50. We found this property on the Sunday night, did our due diligence, and I was very comfortable with the numbers and contacted the selling agent on the Monday. Now, the agent was brilliant, absolutely brilliant in terms of giving us all the information we need. There was some insurance claim with the roof as well because it had been hit with hailstorm damage. So there was a bit of things to fix with the property. Some of the units had been renovated, some weren't. The rents were significantly below market rate as well. So there were all these nuances that I had run through in my head and run through in my own spreadsheets to get an assessment of what I thought the property was worth. Now, the auction was actually on the Monday night. So it was very lucky for Emily and I that the property hadn't sold and we had some time to do the due diligence. Now, given that I look at property investments all day, every day, and it's just part of my life looking at investment opportunities, I can be very quick in making an assessment, finding comparable sales, looking at the value add opportunity, compared to what I would have been 3 or 4 years ago as an example. I was very comfortable with the numbers, and Emily got comfortable with the numbers too. At first, she was a bit hesitant because of the short time frame and because it was more of a regional location than the Gold Coast, which is basically Brisbane's 6th largest city. But after talking through the numbers, talking through the opportunity, we come up with a maximum purchase price of $1,410,000. We registered for the auction, ran through the insurance documents, ran through the contract documents. I got in touch with my local paralegal that we use regularly and recommend to our clients. She's brilliant. We had a chat through any of our questions as to what we might need to know buying into state. And that was another big factor. Buying in New South Wales was a real win for Emily and I. We actually haven't hit land tax thresholds in Queensland yet, but buying in New South Wales would help us shift and not have any land tax threshold in either Queensland or New South Wales at this point in time. Now, our maximum purchase price was that 1.41, but my auction strategy, as you'll see in the video, was to sit back, take my demand out of the auction scenario and bid once it was reaching the end of the auction. We basically signed onto Zoom and sat in the auction and basically got a feel of what was happening on the ground. A local agent was managing the Zoom on the other end of the video. Myself and a couple of other online bidders were on the Zoom as well. And then obviously local buyers bidding at the auction there. Emily and I were buying sight unseen. We couldn't actually drive down due to border restrictions. And given our experience and running the numbers, we were comfortable to our maximum purchase price. Just to be clear, we'd also gotten a full building and pest report of all the units and the house as well. So we're fully aware of all the maintenance items like gutters and some water issues, potential plumbing and maintenance issues that might be required down the track, and the level of condition of the units. So some are renovated and some were unrenovated. And in terms of the current yields, we also understood that they were under market rent, but we also didn't want to increase them to market rent straight away because we want to be reasonable with the tenants. So that was all part of the scenario. So through the auction scenario, we signed on, had a look at the video. We were struggling to hear the audio at some points because they'd accidentally muted it as the auctioneer was doing his initial spiel about the property and the location. And then from there, the auction began. Someone tried to bid at the $1 million mark, and the auctioneer rejected that offer. The bidding then started in the low 1.2s, which is what the price guide was for the property as it was listed online. It was listed between 1.2 to 1.3 as a price guide. I really knew, and so did the selling agent, knew that it was going to go over the $1.3 million mark. It was just at what point people would tap out and no longer be willing to pay for that property. So we let the bidding occur, and it went all the way from the low 1.2s all the way up to 1.35 pretty quickly. It then stalled at the 1.35 and reached 1.36 million. So $1,360,000. And that's when I jumped in. So I tried to look very cool and calm on the video, as you might see. I tried to keep my demeanor very low key and bid with confidence when we needed to. So I bid in at the $1.36 million mark in $5,000 increments. I went between myself and bidder number 25, who was a local bidder, and we were really competing between ourselves at this point. The other bidders who had bid earlier on had really tapped out at the $1.35 million mark, so $1,350,000, and it was just myself and bidder number 25 at this point. We continued to bid back and forth in $5,000 increments up towards the $1.4 million mark. Now, and bidder number 25 did wait until the third call to make his bid at $1.395 million. And I quickly returned the bid at $1.4 million, even though we were only $10,000 away from our maximum purchase price. I was trying to show and have the demeanor that we would continue to bid, we were interstate buyers and that we would go all the way and keep going, but we were really only $10,000 away from our limit. At this point, the auctioneer decided to go have a chat with the seller and confirm that the property was on the market and was selling. And at that point, the auctioneer came back, announced to everyone that the property was on the market and he would accept further bids. Thankfully, no one else bid, and Emily and I were the successful winners of the auction, purchasing the property for $1,400,000. Now, the unit block has 3 separate units and a house at the front. The block's over 900 square meters of land and it's owned as a medium density residential property. We're really excited about this opportunity and are looking forward to the value add opportunity that we can do in terms of renovating the property down the track. But like I said, if you're interested in us breaking down all the numbers as to what we paid for the property, what the future expenses look like, and what the annual cash flow looks like on the property, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below as to what you thought about this investment purchase that we've made. Love to hear your thoughts, whether it's good or bad. Click this video over here if you want to see another video on real estate, renovating, and financial freedom. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.